Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking the time to attend this segment, Women in Blockchain. I'm actually thrilled to be moderating this segment. It's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I'm a former commercial litigator who transitioned into this industry to do this full time. I care deeply about going to wide-scale adoption, and I care about this topic as a mother who is trying to inspire the next generation as well. Because here's the thing, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and there was an American female astronaut talking about how she got onto the track of becoming an astronaut. She said, well, you know, as a girl, I never gave it a second thought until Sally Ride came to talk at my university, the first American female astronaut, and it changed her trajectory because she looked at the uniform and the suit and said, wow, that can be a profession that I can have. And she went on to becoming an astronaut. So it's for that reason that I'm thrilled to be showcasing and to be introducing to you 3 women who are making great strides in the blockchain space and one brave man. And I will hand the floor to Amadeo first to introduce himself, and then we'll go on to Olesya at the end. So Amadeo, please introduce yourself and tell us how you got into this space and what's keeping you here.
Yes, thank you very much. Good, inspiring intro. So I got in the blockchain space around 2013, 2014. And at the time, I was an IT consultant, and I saw like a lot of. I was working with fintech startups, etc. And then I discovered blockchain. This is a very interesting technology, and this will probably change the way we interact and we transact. And I saw that, and later I also discovered, which also makes me interested in this topic, that blockchain will be a very inclusive technology for everybody. And I think it's very important for everybody to try to understand this new shift that's going on, and try to learn, and don't be afraid to learn. Some materials can be very hard to understand. It's very technical, but I think it's very important for everybody to understand the concepts of this new technology. If we think about the current technology, like what we use money for, the current monetary technology, not a lot of people understand really how it works. But with blockchain now, we can actually try to understand like what's actually the monetary system and the financial system, how does it work, and how do we use it. And this technology will be and can be inclusive for everybody. Yeah, I'll give the word to.
Thanks for having me. My name is Jana Petkanic, and I'm a blockchain consultant, so I got a full-time job as a blockchain consultant here in Amsterdam. And besides that, I'm running a monthly conferences about Bitcoin and blockchain here in Amsterdam. And how I got into blockchain, I mean, my story. So in 2012, a friend of mine told me that he's mining this thing called Bitcoin. And I was like, you know, tell me what Bitcoin is. And he failed to explain me what Bitcoin was to make me inspired. So I checked the internet, and I wasn't very inspired, you know. I thought it was a scam or something like this. So then I just closed YouTube, and I got back to blockchain in 2014 as an enthusiast. I read some articles, but I failed to understand it again. So then in 2016, when I got more mature and more educated, I was able to understand what blockchain is and its potential. So since then, I was like standard blockchain enthusiast, and then I was lucky to get a job I have now. And yeah, I mean, focus of our company is for banks, insurance companies, and governments, and blockchain use cases within these ecosystems.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. My name is Hanna Keskin, and I'm a co-founder of RigoBlock, and RigoBlock is a startup based in Switzerland. And what we are doing, we are building a protocol for decentralized fund infrastructure. So, but let's talk of another stuff. So my engagement in blockchain and my interaction with the blockchain started in 2016. When I really started to educate myself on the topic, reading a lot, studying articles, and basically starting from the basics. And then in 2017, I had an opportunity to be a co-founder of RigoBlock, and that's how we started. And in RigoBlock, I take care of marketing, and operations, and a little bit of everything for now, because we are a small startup, so that's how we work now.
Hi everybody, it's nice to meet you. My name is Lacey, I'm a Chief Relationship Officer at the ELYLAND company. This is a great game development company with around 10 years on the market. So we started our long trip from 2007. And I really want to know that no games, in our society right now that do not have any blockchain opportunities, and we will believe that we are going to be one of the first games companies that integrated blockchain into our games. And today we visited Amsterdam to show you two our brand new products that would astonish the market soon. And one of them is the game, and the second one is a social network. So with the help of it, I do believe that it's going to change the game market and the social market, greatly. And I really, with honor, glad to be the part of this biggest astonishment that is going to clash the world soon. Thank you.
So thanks very much for introducing yourselves. I wanted to talk about the topic of your personal story in terms of barriers to entry. I find that when I talk to my friends on whether they should also join this industry, they tell me, I'm not really sure what it's about. I might want to get into this industry. I find it slightly intimidating. So I would like either one who feels called to answer this question, whether you yourself encountered certain struggles to get to the basics of this industry, and how did you manage to overcome these barriers?
So I will start with that. I think there's a barrier to entry for everybody because it's such a new technology. When I was working as a IT consultant, I always did basically Bitcoin and blockchain technology more of a bit of a hobby, and I made a full-time jump around 2016. But before that, it's always an exploration, and it's always trying to understand the concepts, and that can take some time. But I think with all the great content that's out there today, it's much easier to understand why this will change the world, and why this will change the way we interact. So I think it's really important to just do it, and it doesn't matter like which background you have, because it's a very diverse space. You can have diverse skill sets that we need in this space. So I actually would recommend everybody to pick up a book about blockchain, do a course about blockchain, and just do it. And for me, the biggest hurdle in that was basically just doing it. Like, just don't be afraid to fail, or don't be afraid to maybe not understand everything at the first time, but just do it.
I would say I fully agree with Amadeo. And that's first, there is a self-education, so really you have to read Medium, you have to follow YouTube, you have to follow some people worth following. You have to read white papers. It's not nice to read so much, but this is the way. How can you learn how genuine blockchain project can look like or cannot look like. So I think the major issue is the self-education at the very beginning. But believe me, it's worth it than the result.
Yes, I think that you shouldn't be scared of difficult terminology. Just let's start from the basics. What is distributed ledger technologies? What is cryptocurrencies? And going on and on, reading all about this and educating yourself, you will get to the point.
I would like to tell you a funny story. So in most of cases, in any conferences, most of guys, they are coming to your booths, they are trying to talk with you and thinking like, oh, she's just just a girl who is like trying to get attention from you, and to make the many things regarding the product. Nothing much. And in most of cases, when, for example, a girl is starting to talk and started to talk very, precisely about kind of what is blockchain, how is it integrated, she knows many things like what is multiplayer, what is, multiplicator, and so on and so forth. In most of cases, all the guys just, making their eyes so round, looking at you and thinking like, wow, she's knowing something. So I do believe that most of girls should know very precise things regarding every product that they are presenting, because that would also this is your self-esteem at least. But moreover, you're going to know many interesting things that you're going to definitely help you in the future.
So we have a lot of entrepreneurs outside, the partners, partner companies, entrepreneurs in this space, in the audience, who, when I talk to them, entrepreneurs, and I ask them, so how is your retention policy? How is your hiring policy? Are you managing to hire more women in blockchain? Are you interested in hiring more women in blockchain? Their answer usually is, yes, we do, because studies show that more diverse companies with a more welcoming workspace, the bottom line is that they are more profitable. Do you also find that companies are interested and do see the need to boost gender diversity? Do you see that there is action taken in this respect? And what would your advice be for companies to retain and to hire more women in this space?
Yeah, so we from Cyber Capital, when we invest in companies and we analyze teams, I always find it very important that there's diversification in the teams. And when it's only white males, then it's fine, but it's like we mostly also, I think a diversified team is stronger than just a team with one group of people with one way of thinking. So, for me, for us as investors, for me, it's important to see diversified teams. Yeah.
That's an interesting ad. Thank you for that. Jana?
I'm also a supporter of diversity in a workspace. But on the other hand, I wouldn't push it. So I fully understand the point of employers when they struggle with hiring women, when her profile doesn't match what they are looking for, of course, no matter that they would be striving for diversity. So on the other hand, I would think of supporting some grassroots initiative which would inspire women to the extent that they get into blockchain and that they get some, I don't know, certified education with the University of Nicosia at least, or create some environment where women can get some certification that yes, actually they fully understand what blockchain is and they can talk about this, and they can contribute with these skills. So yeah, I wouldn't push it. I wouldn't push employers to hire more women on purpose for the sake of diversity.
Yes, as you said, you shouldn't force it because there should be some certain incentive to join blockchain-based teams and to work on blockchain for women. So yes, women should be educated on the topic, and we know that men are more interested in technology generally, in finance and so on and so forth. And the same should be for women, I guess, and women shouldn't be afraid of doing it. Also, gender diversity is good, but also cultural diversity is also important. It's for me. So.
I actually want to share my experience that I used to have because, I'm attending many conferences right now. What I'm seeing that actually, gender diversity is really, really, seen in many conferences because most of the cases regarding blockchain and everything, men's environment is satiated, while women is not, so much in it. There's a few thoughts regarding it. Probably first one that most of women think that I should sit at home, should do many work, like everything family and so on and so forth. Well, what about your self-education? When the woman, she's more in a field where she's feel herself really great and because she like it, because she's deeply in it, it gives her kind of a very, very nice scene in her eyes, which is very, very attractive. So that's why I would definitely recommend all of the women try to think regarding the blockchain because there's so many interesting stuff that you can start on. Especially, any crowdfunding, any ISO investments, so everything is possible. But first of all, to try to do it, you need to make a first step. A first step regarding YouTube channels to start investigating what is it. Any social networks, any, internet connections, so everything that can start. Just make a first step and after continue, and you're gonna find out many interesting things that you're gonna like it definitely.
I was wondering, maybe, is there somebody in the audience who wants to issue a question? We have a question here.
Okay, so this is a question mainly to the ladies. I would like to know, from professional and personal point of view, what are the goals that you would like to achieve in the future in the blockchain industry?
First of all, achieve more engagement of women in blockchain, of course. As for now, there are a few women CEOs of the blockchain startups, and in the future, I would like to see more women. Yeah.
What I want to achieve is I definitely interested in implementing genuine blockchain use cases across supply chain. So, because I believe that supply chains needs a lot of rework, and blockchain has got the potential to change it. So, that's for me.